If you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. It's called Anchor. You can download it today at the Play Store. Peace. Support the work of Strike 7 Sports by heading to fanatics.com and purchasing officially licensed gear from the NFL, the NBA, and more. Each purchase made through the text link below goes into the funding of the Strike 7 Sports brand. To proceed, go to the link strike7sports.com/fanatics. I say again, strike7sports.com/fanatics. Thank you. Yo, what's up? This is your boy Derek Branch here at strike7sports.com. And this is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast, joined by my co-host Brian Botta. And this is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. So, for some odd reason, every time we do these podcasts, like the days after the podcast, stuff doesn't go down with the Los Angeles Lakers. It just does. And we're past the All-Star. Well, I would say a week, like 2 weeks removed from the All-Star break, and by the start, once the season started and had their issues, I told everyone, including y'all, my co-hosts, that I'm not gonna really say anything until the All-Star break, until after it, when even if the stuff still is festering into the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, then they may have a problem. So guess what? Here we are. It's after the All-Star break, and the Lakers are 1-4 in the last five matchups after the All-Star break. They barely won against the Utah Jazz, and then after that, they just went to a free fall. Got obliterated by the New Orleans Pelicans. Got beat by the Clippers. He had Dallas Mavericks on the ropes, but you couldn't get it done. You couldn't close it out, and that was not even one of Luka Doncic's best games. He only had 25 points, but he made those shots. He made those big-time shots that you need to put away a team like a LeBron that has LeBron James on it. And now the Lakers are 1-4 after the All-Star break, and there are all kind of theories and narratives being, pushed about this team and what should happen, and LeBron should do this and da 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 da, this and that. And the latest article that came out that's on the Bleacher Report right now is that the Lakers have mutual interest in parting ways with Russell Westbrook, and that's because it's just not working out. I've heard that LeBron, it was more about friendship when they decided to bring Russell Westbrook on. They took LeBron James' advice on bringing him to the team, even though it wasn't about business. And sometimes that could be the wrong move when you take, friendship over business and personal feelings. But so I want to ask you, do you think the Lakers should shut this down or continue to fight for a playoff spot with everything that's going on? And do you think they can get out of this rut there and go into the playing tournament?
Well, LeBron's already said he's going to play, so we got to, go to try to compete for playing and take it from there. But yeah, this season just been a disaster for a lot of reasons. The number one reason just it's been a tough fit. The LeBron, AD, and Russ, but a lot of people saw that coming in, and then not just the fit with those three, the roster around them was just not the right roster you need at all. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do. But look, I mean, some Laker fans I was looking on Twitter today talking about how they're just disappointed. Some of them being, look, every year you can't win the title. Should the Lakers do better? Yeah, but I think if they get the right pieces and make, I think they need another voice in that front office to be like Rob's right hand man, someone with experience on how to build championship rosters. I think they'll be all right. But the Lakers this year, they're done. It just hates to pain me. Like, there's this one video I saw of this guy going off. It was kind of sad, but it wouldn't be me because while I love the Lakers, I'm not going to cry over a loss or anything. I accepted a time ago this team is just going to probably lose in the first round if they somehow make the playoffs, and that's a big if. So they should learn from their mistakes, make the necessary changes in the offseason, and take it from there.
Yeah, valid points. Season pretty much lost, man. It just ain't worked out, man, with Russell Westbrook. I think that the trade, the report was that a trade on the table for De'Aaron Fox, if I'm not mistaken. De'Aaron Fox instead of Westbrook.
Buddy.
But yeah, my bad. Buddy Hill, yeah. Buddy Hill instead of Russell Westbrook. That would have been the score that they need. But LeBron got with Russ, and they thought probably AD as well. They thought it was a good idea to bring him on, but it just ain't working out, man. Unfortunate, Lakers are in this situation they're in right now. But I want to provide a counter take to what y'all said. You and Leo said I think it was last week about LeBron elevated the Lakers to heights that there have never been in a long time since 2013. But I'll say this: they got a championship out of it. But I'll say this: the Lakers' standard is not to just get to the playoffs or just get to the Western Conference Finals. Their standard is to win championships, man. Championship year after year. That's the expectations for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I've heard these narratives about LeBron not really being I would say, a true Laker, like a Kobe, a Shaq, who else out there? Wordy, a Magic, and maybe he's not. He's just not. That's just not what he is. It is what it is with that, but that's the Lakers' standards to win championships, man. Compete for championships every year, not to be a playing team. This is below the standard right here. It's not to be playing team, playing teams, playing the first seed, playing the number one seed in the West in the first round. It's not the Lakers. Our Lakers standard is to be at least a top 4 seed in the West, top 5 seed in the West, playing a lower tier team in the first round. Same with I compare it to the Alabama standard. Nick Saban has been competing for national titles pretty much since he's been in Alabama. And now the guy that comes after him, if he wins one national championship and have his next couple of years where he's, going to bowl games, but it's not the CFP, they're gonna have a problem. And that's kind of what the Lakers is. The Lakers, that's the standard. It's not to be playing playoff just to be playoff teams. Their expectations to win championships, man. Every year, that's the Lakers standard. Plain and simple. But we'll see how everything plays out. Like I said yesterday in the group chat, I'm just gonna do a little deep dive and looking at what's available for free agency. What moves can they make? Because I think they just need a difference maker, outside of AD to help this team when he's out. Because that's just the thing with AD now. He's not that guy. He can't be trusted, for an entire season. He's missing time right now. That's why they're having issues once again. But we'll see how everything plays out with LeBron. See how far they can go if they can just shake themselves out of this rut. Now, a second part of this question I want to ask is for Russell Westbrook, man. Do you think that's still like time in his career? Let's remove the fanfare from the guy. He's a fan favorite and all, but let's remove that. Do you honestly think there's still an opportunity for him to be, you know, coached and get him to like, you know, steer away from the things that kind of get him caught up, that kind of get him, you know, sidetracked in games, as a player. And do you think he could ever be an option for a contender? Not a number one option, but a reliable 2 or 3 guy on the team.
I think that was the goal this year. That he's not a number one, he's not a number two, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
Yeah, he can potentially be a number 3, and unfortunately, because the roster wasn't good and injuries, we never really got that shot. But I still think Russ can be a good contributor. But the biggest problem with him is he can't shoot, and if you can't shoot in today's NBA, you're already a liability. And he's also, like, some people think because he's a good athlete, he's a good defender. He's not a good defender either. So he can't shoot. He's not a good defender. And most importantly, the biggest issue is he needs the ball in his hands to be most effective. And that's what LeBron needs too. And so that's why a lot of people were saying maybe he should come off the bench, because then he can just be Russ. And he can just play his style and do what he does best. But playing with LeBron, he has to be more off the ball, and he's shown some flashes of it working, but I just don't know if it's sustainable over the course of the season. Definitely in the playoffs, I just don't know if he can do that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if he stays. Is he willing to come off the bench? Now it's a demotion in terms of, like, he's used to starting all this time, but if they surround with the right pieces in the second unit, you can just be you. Stop and play the style you've been playing all your career. I think that would be tough for me to pass. I'm still getting paid $44 or $47 million at least for next year. I would definitely take that deal if I was him, because wherever you're gonna go, you may have a chance to do something like special, but you probably won't have a chance to win a title like you have with the Lakers. So I would just stay here, and if I need to accept a bench role, that's what I would do if I was him.
Do you think they'll make that suggestion to him before moving him, or it's just going to be, hey, we're going to move you and get some compensation for you?
Yeah, the question is, are the Lakers fine with? Because the one thing, if they don't extend LeBron, at least not yet, they could wait. A deadline, at least for next season, is August 4th, or they could just wait till that summer. They'll have a lot of cap space, not only to extend Braun, maybe even Russ, but add other pieces. Because the only way they'll add other pieces this offseason is via trade and free agency, but not really good players, just vet minimum guys. So I think that's something I would consider if I was Russ. I don't know if the Lakers want a backup point guard to be making $47 million.
That's a lot for a backup.
Yeah, but if you look at the bigger picture, and most importantly, I feel like if LeBron wants it, then it'll happen. If you're able to talk with Russ, this is just the best way for us to win. You'll still be you. You just will have to come in with the second unit. I think it could work, but if LeBron doesn't want it, Russ could be packing his bags and be somewhere else, and he may end up get to a situation where he gets traded. He doesn't want to be there. They just cut him, and he goes sign with whoever he wants to play with. But it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. I still think there's a championship team in here if you can add the right pieces in the offseason, and maybe I don't know. I like Frank Vogel. He's done some good things. If he's not willing to change some of the stuff they need to do, He may have to go. So does Rob Pelinka. But what's more likely going to happen, they'll both stay. So I would rather them just add an experienced front office executive and another experienced assistant to the coaching staff. One or two. So
you don't think Vogel's going to get fired?
I don't know.
I think he's out, man.
I don't know.
I think he's out.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get fired, but I could also see them keeping him. With the Lakers, you just don't know what they're gonna do, so we'll see. But if he somehow stays, I think he needs to make some changes on the coaching staff and just like the team when we won that we had a lot of former head coaches and get back to our roots. When we won, we were a defensive team, and not all of it's his fault. We just don't have the defensive personnel. But if we get that, I think we can have a chance to win a championship.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what, though? I'm glad the Pelicans discovered Willie Green last year, because probably this year, if Vogel gets fired, I think they're going to look at that Phoenix coaching staff. That's what I think is going to happen. That's just me. But I'm glad the Pelicans were able to hire Willie Green. But we'll see how everything plays out. This Lakers story just interesting, man. I'm intrigued by it. I'm just kind of, intrigued by, LeBron, really struggling in this market, to be successful, But it's just something to look, something to look out for, something to pay attention to. But we'll see how everything plays out. All right, man. Moving right along. Next topic is this whole. Recently I've been seeing a lot of chatter about the small market teams with Ja Morant in New Orleans or in Memphis, and Zion and Bi in New Orleans, being competitive, and this whole narrative about stars possibly not they're not gonna want to go there, and there's other things that go down. But recently, Kendrick Perkins, the whole Zion, not communicating with the team stuff came full speed ahead last week with CJ. Well, I'm not gonna sum it all up to say CJ McCullough spoke with Zion, and Zion spoke with him, and blah blah. All that other stuff went down. So Kendrick Perkins, ESPN NBA analyst, stated that maybe the Pelicans should just move because they're not, they'll always be second fiddle to New Orleans Saints. And, he believes that's going to be the move that will make the team viable. Even though it was 1-12 at one point in the season, now they're a playing team right behind the Lakers at 10. He's still going to push that narrative. But I got the audio of what he said. Let's go ahead and play it real quick. Give me a second.
The column earlier this week, it certainly was clear to me that he didn't see any ill intent on the side of Zion Williamson in not reaching out. It's just something that maybe he didn't think of or have to it just didn't come to front of mind, Perk.
Yeah, but here's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Why is Zion disconnected from the team anyway? Like, you're hurt. Why you're not in New Orleans where you have the professional staff, for us, the medical staff, the training staff, all the above, to get everything you need right there in the organization. And here's the problem that I have is that nothing that Willie Green said was wrong. He said everything was right. Like, Zion had the most pressure on him since LeBron James, for us coming out of high school, college, or whatever the case may be. But y'all want to know the real? The real is that I think it's time for the Pelicans to relocate. I think a city like Seattle, a city like Las Vegas is more deserving of a team, of a basketball team, because I played in New Orleans, and they always are going to come second to the New Orleans Saints. I've been there. They always are going to be the little brother to the New Orleans Saints. Just think about it. Zion is a box office type guy. The Pelicans are still trying to give tickets away. Like, we watching, even when he's playing, we're watching the game and it's empty seats. Like, it would never be a basketball city, and that's okay. But I think if the NBA want to move in the right direction. They really have to consider moving this team and this organization in order for them to even keep superstars and make this franchise relevant.
I will say, Big Perk, from my...
All right, man. I'm gonna stop it right there. I want to ask you: do you think market size makes a difference for a team to become a championship contender, or just a playoff contender, regardless?
No. It can help some teams like the Lakers, how they're able to get LeBron and trade, but LA is arguably the most attractive city in the NBA in terms of attracting free agents. And so, but some teams, if you're not a big market or a nice city like LA, you have to operate a little differently. And so, I feel like there's so many different ways to win, but I don't think market size matters. It's just certain places you have to operate differently. And if you can figure that out, and you need a little luck and maybe get who you get, but if you put the right pieces together, you can win a championship. And so I don't think destination really matters.
Yeah, I agree. I was agreeing with everything Perkins was saying until he brought up that point, because the market size is not going to get them. The market size is not going to dictate if they could become winners. Even though they may have a little more money, revenue and all that other stuff, that's not going to determine if they're going to become winners, because the Los Angeles Clippers nobody wanted to go there. There were nobodies in that town until Chris Paul got there. That changed everything for the team, for the franchise. Look at New York. They still, in the pits of in the East. In the East, you would say that the East is easy to win. It's still, and they got all the revenue, all the resources, all the money, all that, but they're not winning. So I mean, just because you move the team, that's not going to make them better. What makes them better is the coaching staff in the front office. And the money is not really an issue, because all the teams got the same amount of money in regards to spending on free agents and stuff. If Pelicans in the luxury tax, they pay into the luxury tax, so that's really not an issue. It's just with a small market team, you just have to be like you said, be smart about how you operate and how you spend money on free agents. That's all. And all the Pelicans have to do is just turn around the culture, man. And they're doing that now. They have to change the culture and get Zion healthy on the court. I don't think the market moving them to another location is gonna make anything better, because even if you move them, you're still gonna have the same ownership, same people in charge. You know what I'm saying? So that really don't make sense. But Perk, I mean, I was in the space last week when he got dragged. It was pretty funny though. I mean, ain't too many big time analysts are gonna go into a space like that. It just, I thought that was cool of him to do that, but he's wrong on the team moving. It's just, I showed y'all the screenshot of what Keyshawn said about Memphis not being it's now a destination for free agents, but it wasn't before. And I'm just like, every time these stars, trend up in a small market, somebody has to bring up the city and can they attract free agents and can they do this, can they do that. Just, it's always a if, a but, they could do this, but, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's about the market, man. It's all about the coaching staff, scouts, in the front office, and how they spend the money. That's how a contender is going to be built, not because of the market size. Because I would say the majority of the big markets right now are struggling. Brooklyn's a playing team. Clippers are on the fence right now. Boston is not where they're supposed to be. Lakers, they're the ninth seed. Who else is out there? Well, Philly, they're pretty good. The Knicks, they're playing territory, so that doesn't really mean nothing, but we'll see how everything plays out. All right, moving right along. and segue the next topic, and that's on John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant, was everybody knows was selected after Zion Williamson, and possibly for the rest of their careers, they're going to be compared to each other, connected to each other in some kind of way. So John Morant, ever since he's been in Memphis, the team has pretty much been in playoff contention. First year, which was his first year in 2020, which was also, I would say 2019, 2020 was also the pandemic year of the NBA. Memphis went down to the bubble and got it qualified. Well, got the opportunity to become a playing team. Didn't advance to the playoffs, but the next year they got to the playing game again, beat Golden State. Year three, they're one of the top seeds in the West, right behind Phoenix and Golden State in the Western Conference. And this, John Morant has been playing like a MVP candidate so far. His last 4 games, they got him pulled up. 52 against Boston in the prior matchup. Well, not Boston, San Antonio. Yeah, 46 against Chicago, 20 against Minnesota, 44 against Portland. And the team has just been really good, work hard, plays really well together. Looks like they're having a lot of fun. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been a crucial piece of the team. And I think they could go. They have the potential to go far in the West this year, but we'll see. But I want to ask you, man. These 3 years that Ja has been in Memphis, has his era been better than expected so far?
Yeah, I didn't expect them. If you told me they would have even made the playoffs in his first 3 years, I would have thought you were crazy. But the fact they would make it, even win a game, and now potentially they can win a series this year, they've overachieved completely. Even the Grizzlies would have probably been shocked. I mean, it's unbelievable what they've accomplished and have a chance to accomplish for the years to come. And it's all because of John Morant, Zach Kleiman, and Taylor Jenkins. Those 3, in my opinion, are the main reason why the Grizzlies are here today. They got the star player, they got a really solid coach, development coach with a young team, and they've got the front office executive who's been making the right decisions. And, man, they have a chance to do some special things, not only just this year, but towards the future.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just like the NFL, man. Once you find that star quarterback, man, you're pretty much in good shape. And it's the same likewise with the NBA. You find that a potential superstar, and you just start building around him. And they were able to rebuild pretty fast. They got rid of Mike Conley and that contract. Chandler Parsons drama. Moved up a couple old guys, and they were bad for a couple, like 1 or 2 years, and got John Morant. And look at where they're at right now, man. I was expecting this, man. I still think, to a certain extent, I still think they kind of overachieving, man. Well, they really are, man. In the Western Conference, where you got Golden State, you got Phoenix, you got the Clippers with Kawhi, you got LeBron, Dame. It's just a lot of really good players in that conference, and the way to say that they're in third place, I think is pretty impressive, man. It's really good, But we'll see, man. We'll see how far they can go once the playoffs start, man. We'll see, man. Don't be surprised by anything going forward. You got anything else to add?
No, I agree with most of what you're saying. I'm just happy for Memphis. They suffered a few years, and the style they were playing, it was nice, but it was outdated.
Yeah.
And then they got a young player, and now they have a chance to. I'm not saying they'll win a championship, but they have a chance. I feel like in the next 5-7 years, they surround Ja with the right piece. I think they can win a championship.
Yes, true. I agree. All right, that's all we have for y'all for right now. Give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you listen to this through YouTube, let us know how you feel about the topics we talked about. Also, if you listen to this through iTunes or Spotify, give us a 5-star rating and leave your review. Also, check out strike7sports.com for latest content on NFL, the NBA, and much more. Have a blessed night. Peace. We out.